Welcome back to the dark future. Welcome to Red Sky City. Cyberpunk Conspiracy. If you're just joining us, Red Sky City is a story set in the universe of Cyberpunk Red in the year 2045, so 32 years before the upcoming video game Cyberpunk 2077. A generation after a nuclear bomb detonates in Night City, the heroes of our story are just trying to make their way in the world and put their lives together, and those lives were changed forever by something they discovered in Phase 1 under their apartments. I'm Tormented by Gnomes, and I'll be your game master during today's adventure, and I'm really excited to welcome back the cast of Phase 1 to the show. So we're going to go ahead and reintroduce ourselves real quick, starting off with the fantastic Rachel Seltzer-Quirico. Rachel, how are you today?
Hey, I'm here. It's super exciting. We're playing a fantasy world that will take us far into what I didn't realize was going to be maybe a better future. But yeah, really excited to be mentally transported with you all today.
So I was going through writing everyone's character profiles and writing down like the year of everyone's birth. And it was, 2011, 2016, 2019, etc. And I was wondering, if you do a side-by-side of the Cyberpunk timeline and our timeline, which one is the dark future? And then I stopped thinking about that and decided to play some games. Rachel, can you introduce us real quick to your character and what's going on with your character recently?
Sure. My character, actually born last year, 2019, is in the year 2044 of our show. Just about finding her footing after, community college. She got a really nice job at this corporate. What is my corporation called again?
Continental Brands.
Continental Brands. See, Natalie would kick the shit out of me for forgetting that. Continental Brands is where she started. She was an intern. She was big on getting coffee. She kind of really feels like she's moving up. She was, in charge of the mailroom. Just a small team. They really respected her. Not really too engrossed with the crime that was going on, perhaps at her corporation, but very happy. And then something happened at her apartment building, and she was pulled into some chaos. And now she's really been reckoning with going back to that stability and that comfort of that corporate life, and if she even can after everything that has transpired in the first season of Red Sky City.
I'm not saying the conspiracy knows where you live, but the conspiracy knows where you live. Next up, we've got global icon and national treasure, Alex Goldenboy Mendez. Alex, welcome back to the show. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, sell your stuff online, and then tell us about the Monarch?
That's right, baby. One, I'm super famous, so let that resonate with everyone for a moment here. Don't listen to anything Brennan Hook has to say about me. They're all lies and figments of his radical imagination. Obviously I stream all the time on Twitch. I actually just released a Cyberpunk focused video on my YouTube about 3 games that you can play while you wait for Cyberpunk 2077 because the game got delayed. Super sad. So that's up there. Highly suggest checking out Ghost Runner. Awesome game. So that's what I've been up to. Streaming and, commentary and stuff like that. The Monarch, though, really what everyone wants to know about. The twin brother of Oro, one of the most well-known, beloved rocker boys in all of the land. Okay, no one will dispute it. No one will argue with me.
Debate. Up for debate.
Not at all. He was loved. Unfortunately, killed in cold blood by Royal and mostly Jim Fingers, which led to the Monarch's arrival. And the Monarch is a badass solo. He's an individual who decided to take the law into his own hands. He follows a moral code. He doesn't really like people that much. And if he thinks that you are annoying, he will shoot you in the face. That is his game plan. It's always been his game plan. And I think it's safe to say, no. I think it's safe to say he lived up to that promise at the end of Red Sky City Season 1.
And it was
Okay.
me. What was it?
Yeah, it was you. But as of right now, he was forcefully thrown down as he was attempting to save his friends because he's the only one capable of defending himself, except for Natalie, because she's a serial killer. He was trying to save his friends, trying to save these people that he's grown kind of sort of accustomed to. He's kind of like to joke around with, mostly, you know, jokes of murder, death, right, dismemberment.
Didn't realize they were jokes.
They were the whole time. So now he is frozen underneath the apartment building upon which Oro and the rest of the crew live, waiting, watching, plotting, because he's going to kill everyone.
You're unconscious, frozen.
It's okay.
None of those things can happen.
He knew his plan the moment he was thrown down that tube, and that's the Monarch.
In the 20 seconds he was sliding through the lubed up metal chute, he was just like, all right, phase 1, discombobulate. Phase 2, schlunk. And he was frozen.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan.
Hey, before we get too much further, Rachel, I didn't give you a chance. Where can people find you online?
Oh, you can find me at Seltzer, please, on the Twitter, on the Instagram, and and on Twitch, it's just Seltzer. That's all of that.
Perfect.
Rachel, you have a new setup?
Yeah, I moved to the only other space in my apartment. It's the bedroom.
Wow. Dude, 2020, what a year.
Right?
What a year.
700 square feet, right. Got to keep it fresh.
You know, a major life overhaul is considered shifting things 2 feet to the left. Complete paradigm shift. All right. Next up, we have, you may know him from his many exploits in the Overwatch League or feeding in the ranked game of your choice. It is Josh Sideshow Wilkinson.
I thought you were going to announce Bren there. No, for him, I think. But yeah. I before Bren can even comment about that, because we know he's going to spout a bunch of nonsense afterwards, I would highly advise you listen to the advice of Golden Boy, never to pay attention to anything that Bren says.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm Sideshow. You can catch all of my off-season work now that the Overwatch League is finished on twitch.tv/Sideshow. And as for my character, Jim Fingers, who was just slandered, essentially, in the opening there from Monarch, he had nothing to do with the death of Oro. Jim Fingers is a fixer around Red Sky City, who attempts to deal at a medium level in terms of getting jobs done for people, a little bit of black market dealings, wheeling dealings here and there. And now, thrown into a full basket conspiracy with guns flying everywhere, Jim was a little out of his depth. He couldn't keep Oro safe. He's felt quite guilty for that, except Monarch's too much of a prick for him to really feel guilty about. So instead, Jim has just been trying desperately to keep the party together while Bren and Alex's characters really try and kill each other. Like, genuinely, they want to murder each other.
No, not true.
Are you speaking for Monarch there as well? Because I think Monarch definitely does.
Let's just say Monarch's not a fan right now. You know, He's not like, he's like, if there's a Jerax Ashwater fan club, Monarch's not a
he
part
would not
of
be
it.
The president.
Yeah, he doesn't have an email, signed up for it to get the newsletters,
Okay.
But if there's like a hate club, he's the president. For sure.
If Jerax has 1 million fans, I am not one of them. Speaking of Jerax, we've got, rounding out our cast, last but certainly not least, is Bren, don't call me Brennan, Bren Hook. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I don't know. I have just been absolutely slandered in this opening. You didn't even need to do anything, by the way. I had to run downstairs just before we went live, like 30 seconds before, because I had bolognese all over my mouth. I just tried to take a sip of this canned energy drink. I'm not going to say the name. Listen, hey, you know who you are. If you want to sponsor the show, you can. And I just spilt it all down my shirt at the same time. So I've had a great opening just off that alone. But yeah, you can find me on the Overwatch League usually. And also I stream on Twitch, and I'm doing the YouTube now, as the kids are calling it. I have a YouTube channel. Yeah. But if you type Bren into YouTube, it just comes up with Sideshow. So at this point, I might not as well have one. And I'm playing the character that's called Jerax Ashwater, and he's a surgeon, a cybertech surgeon. He installs cybertech. He likes cybertech, I suppose, and he was from the UK, born into a pretty impactful, I would say, crime family, like almost like the UK mafia. But he had to run away from the UK with his twin brother for reasons that we might get into in 30 episodes time, stealing trade secrets and stuff. And his twin brother actually ended up he was a net runner. I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version of this backstory, aren't I? His twin brother was ended up going brain dead. I don't know what you call it actually, but he basically got fried out internally when he tried to dive into a bad portion of the future internet. And since then, Jerax has basically made it his life mission to try and resurrect and restore his brother back to normal. That hasn't gone as planned because he met some absolute psychopath called Monarch, who has just not only threatened to shoot him in the head, but actually shot him in the head at the end of the last episode. So I'm essentially, at this point in time, I have crawled into a slime tube to heal, and that's it. That's my character. That's Jerax. Who knows if I'll live any further? I mean, Monarch is in a freezing tube right now. I'm inclined to maybe chuck a grenade or two down there, see what happens, and maybe we'll spend this episode actually just re-rolling Alex's character. Haven't told anyone I might do that, but you never know. You never know.
Wow.
All right.
That's so mean.
If you missed the last episode, you now have a rough idea of the temperature of the room, which is almost as hot as the fusion bomb they discovered underneath their apartment. So, to bring you up to speed, our heroes thought they were going to find the lost Arasaka offsite database containing countless corporate secrets from before the Fourth War and the digital ghost of the man himself, Johnny effing Silverhand. Unfortunately, they did not find the Arasaka database. They found the Arasaka device, a much larger nuke than the nuke that Militech set off to blow up Arasaka's base at the end of the Fourth Corporate War, large enough to blast the entire thing back into Morro Bay, removing Night City entirely. Things got a little bit out of hand. One thing led to another, and they managed to disable the nuke and refresh me. Did you guys end up blowing it up, like demolishing it safely? Not, detonating it, but destroying it?
We paused it.
Mm-hmm. I know you paused it, but then, like, when you left the bunker behind, did you go with the safe demolition option? Or is it just sort of still there waiting for Sideshow's friends to pick it up?
Oh, no, it's still there. It's still there.
I believe
we
did demolish it, didn't we?
No.
I thought we
like
tried. We at least tried.
Oh, Miss Frizz blew it up, is what.
Yeah, I thought Miss Frizz actually blew it up after I had
Frizz blew up the chamber to throw us off, to throw people off our scents. That I think that's what had happened.
Okay, so what you know as a group is that there was an explosion, and it was not 9.86 kilometers in diameter, and therefore it didn't, or was it radius? Either way, Night City did not get nuked, therefore Cyberpunk 2077 is not canceled. But when we last left the crew, two of you had jumped into the emergency Arasaka cryo chutes to go into the bunker that would allow Arasaka's personnel to survive the nuclear fallout and wake up in like a year's time or so when things were relatively safe. The other two, Miss Frizz had departed. The other two had very different situations going on. Jerax got shot in the face. He's bleeding profusely. He has no idea the extent of the head trauma he's received. He made a phone call on his agent and dragged himself upstairs. Natalie is able to, and if you recall, Royals AV, his crew of Militech guards that were all laying down fire, they left. The boosters that were attacking your apartment all exploded. Things are eerily quiet after the explosion that went off. Most of the denizens of the apartment complex were warned to evacuate by Jim Fingers when the violence was about to go down. So everything is really, really quiet. Double or Nothing's crew is still on site, along with some of the other allies that you called in, like Beetle's troops. As soon as Beetle got shot in the face, they dipped. So it's chaotic, it's messy, there's smoke rising from the area, and as Jerax sort of staggers out of the hole that he was inside, another AV comes flying down with a huge minigun, radioing down to everybody,
Lay down your arms and do not resist. This is Trauma Team. Anyone caught wielding a weapon will be shot on sight.
The Trauma Team AV deploys as close to Jerax as possible with incredible land-on-a-dime style precision. Jerax, you vaguely, through this red, staticking, blaring haze of just pure pain, and maybe that's like blood over your eye, or maybe your optic nerve got disconnected when Monarch shot you in the face. You're not really sure. You're vaguely aware of Trauma Team landing, ready to lay down covering fire. Their technicians grab you, do some quick triage, pull out a cryo pump, stuff you in the cryo pump, turn it on, and the terrible pain is replaced by a brief sensation, cold, numb sensation, and then darkness. Assuming you didn't want to like mumble anything or try to shoot them or anything like that.
I mean, absolutely not. I knew what I was doing. Placed the phone call. You know, I got some very important people in high places. So listen, you know, we're gonna let it take its course. Who knows what's gonna happen?
Okay. Natalie, everyone's evacuated the place except for the people who are defending it. Gina finds you, still clutching her shotgun that's smoldering from where she was blasting at Militech's guards. She is clearly flushed with adrenaline and a little bit of panic. She wants to make sure that you're all right.
Gina, first of all, I'm honestly touched that she cares at all about me, because I feel kind of to blame for the chaos that has visited upon this building. But I realize actually the chaos is more your fault, Gina. And wow, if you're going to repay me for all the craziness that we went through, I need to learn some things from you. I need to learn just how you lived under people's noses so long. I want to have a normal life too. And I need your skills, Gina.
Well, if you can make good on that promise you made earlier and get us out of the city, I've got some old friends that I think will still answer my call. We need to get to the city limits. There's a safe place in the south. It's the Aldecalo Nomad camp. I know people there. They'll set us up. We can disappear.
Does my car still work?
Yes, your car still works. It's a little banged
we're
up,
gonna
but
drive
Gina
there,
knows
Gina.
her way around a motor. All right. So the two of you hop in the tiny smart car and you start rolling out
With all her
through
pets?
Night City. Yes. She's not leaving them behind. It is cramped in there. Puddles takes up a lot of real estate. Now, if I can direct everyone's attention to our map real quick, I can actually show you the path that you'll be taking. Your apartment is somewhere in this area, near the border between Old Japantown, Little China, and the Old Medical Center, which is the hot zone. Gina is going to take you through side streets, watching every single turn as you pass through the combat zones, weaving through some alleyways, out. I'm not totally sure if these numbers are accurate, like if this is really a kilometer. It's by closest approximation from Google Maps. You
I don't know
actually
what a
pull
kilometer is,
through.
so you're golden.
You weave through the neon streets and the burned out streets and around the partially flooded streets, and you get to this land bridge that connects you to New Westbrook, where you're getting out into the overpacked suburbs full of people who escaped from the city a generation ago. And as she's preparing to direct you down this way towards the Nomad camp, your phone beeps. It's a message from Todd. It's a question with no question mark. Are you all right?
Well, first of all, Joseph, I don't see that message until we stop driving or pull over somewhere, because I am not going to check my phone while driving.
Is your phone set up to notify you or no?
I will receive notifications, and I actually do have those fancy new glasses, but I don't know if they auto would give me that information.
I don't know if you've purchased that particular upgrade for them, since
No, I have
virtuality
not done.
glasses. All right. In that case, your phone keeps beeping several times, and if you don't pick up, you're going to get a phone call.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like look at Gina, but we're also like escaping a traumatic situation. So I don't feel like pulling over is appropriate unless she's going to kind of, I don't know. I'm learning from you, Gina. You're the one telling me how to live a normal life. Do I answer this call? What if it's work? Or should I just keep going? Are we in danger right now? Should they be tracking us?
Look, there's been a lot of people looking out for us. I don't know what you guys found down there. I don't think anyone ever explained what was going on to Gina, did they? Would anyone else in the party have explained, hey, by the way, there's a long-lost Arasaka database under our house? Jim or anyone else, would you have had that conversation?
I
didn't think so.
highly doubt it.
Yeah. Well, Gina knows that she was blackmailed with threats from Biotechnica, and you told her that you found the records, so Biotechnica already knows about what's going on with her. She is in a very trust no one style thought process right now, but it's totally going to depend on who it is. And your agent will kindly inform you that it is, in fact, Todd.
All right. I do have to answer this, Gina. Just 1 second. I want to pull off on like what looks like, a hidden stretch, or if I can pull off behind some stuff. Once I'm over the land bridge, nothing too close to the water.
Okay, so
and then
you're
I
in New
actually am
West
gonna
York,
hop
you're
out
getting
of the car.
close to the executive zone. Okay, you're gonna hop out of the car?
Yeah, I just want to
Okay.
take the message outside of the car, kind of away from her.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. At first, she looks at you like you have two heads, because where she comes from, they don't really care about answering calls on the road, because if you stop driving, a road gang is going to catch up with you, shoot harpoons at you, stick you on the front of their car with a blood pipe in your wrist, all that fun stuff.
Sure,
But
and
hey, you know what?
Natalie does want to keep an eye out as she exits the
Mhm.
car and looks around.
Okay. All right, on the other end, it's Todd. Hello, Natalie. Are you all right?
Yeah, no thanks to your jerk crew. What was that, Todd?
It would seem it was a failed venture, I'm afraid. Are the rest of you all right?
I don't even know. I'm not there anymore. Where are you?
I'm at my new job. I've recently made a career move. Why don't you swing by? I'll give you a nice place to rest, gather your thoughts, safe territory, and we can talk.
Tell me where it is.
Sends an address. While still on the call, he has his agent, and he doesn't say this out loud. He has his agent beam you the coordinates, and you can see it's not far from where you are. It's actually north of your position in New Westbrook. Roll a local expert for Night City check.
Let's do it. Local expert for Night City. I think I've got some points in that.
15. Okay, you recognize this. He's just sent you the address for the Channel 54 news tower. They do more than just the news. It's a huge, not really a megacorp anymore, broadcasting network. They've got a large tower. You can see it from here.
Yeah, as soon as I read that address and I recognize where it is, I kind of look up at the tower and now conduct the rest of my phone conversation, looking at the tower as if I'm looking at Todd. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing there? You're working there? That's a news station.
Oh, it's a multimedia conglomerate. We have a wide variety of functions and interesting endeavors going on over here. There's always room for somebody ambitious, talented, and dedicated with single-minded focus. That's what I always admired about you, Natalie.
All right, we'll talk about this later. I'll see you. And I hang up on Todd. I want to get Gina
right.
somewhere and drop her off and get her somewhere safe. The fact that you're laughing, though, makes
Okay.
me very nervous.
All right. So Gina is going to ask you to go ahead and take her. It's a long drive through the overpacked suburbs. There's some tent cities set up, and they look like they've been tent cities for so long that they've turned into sort of shanty towns. built from whatever pieces were used or available. A lot of these areas used to be suburbs, the so-called Beavervilles, with just track housing of identical little plots. Not quite the home that you always imagined. You always imagined something a little more rural, but these seem to have been carbon copies of that ideal that you had with the white picket fence and the green yard and all that. But that was before the bomb went off. When the bomb went off, people fled from the city. The survivors fled to the city, and they just set up wherever they could. So imagine, LA suburb track housing after just being a refugee camp for 20 years. And that's what these areas are like. There's gated communities where the gates have fallen off, and there's just, people who've set up markets and they've got their kids playing, just trying to make their lives here. And some of them have been doing it for so long that it's changing the landscape, taking things apart, building new homes and structures with it. The Nomad camp is all the way at the edge of the city, and it's going to take you a while to get there. But once you get set up, this is sort of a gateway into the suburbs around Night City. From here on out, it's the open road. And it's the deserts, because the deserts have spread over the last 40 years or so. So from here on out, it's Mad Max territory. The Nomad families control so much of the trade in and out of the city. When you go in, you see they've got nice cars. That's the thing that really sets apart the Nomad families, is they know the open road. They have the connections to move goods and people in and out of the city. And cars and vehicles and trucks and stuff are a huge part of their culture. So the closer you get to this area, the more you see the emphasis on a stylized, jury-rig built places for people to live and die on the road. And as you pull in, you notice Gina seems to fit in really well with these folks. Your little tiny city smart car, less so.
Yeah, Natalie can't help but admire these vehicles. They look incredible, and she thought she had tricked out her car with a little bit of nitro and some stickers and stuff. But she is awakening to the potential here of land vehicles, and asking Gina as many questions as she can, like, where do they get these, and do they sell these, and can you drive these? Do you know how to make these?
All right. Where do they get these? Wherever they can find them. On the open road, dug out of old junkyards. There's ever since the Fourth Corporate War, there are whole cargo ships just adrift at sea full of brand new, 20-year-old brand new cars that are just lost out there. There's tons of stuff. You just need to know where to look for it. And the Nomad families always know where to look for it. Are they for sale? No more than Puddles is. And she looks over and pets the gigantic tortoise. These are practically part of the family. Pieces and extra rides and stuff, yeah, sure. This is the place to find them. But a lot of these matter to the people who live and die by them. As for do I know how to drive these, she gives a little bit of a sly smile, remembering her older days. Yeah, I think I still know my way around them.
Wow. Whatever kind of rebel girl crush Natalie had been kind of nursing, and all the badassness she's been projecting onto Gina, she's gone full starry-eyed now, realizing that Gina is part of this car culture, and probably the rest of the drive is just obnoxious conversations about so I've been thinking of amping this up a little bit here, and if you were to replace anything under the hood, where would you start? And she's maybe writing things down off scene.
Doing a diagram of what the car would look like with turbines attached to the sides and stuff like that. All right, so
yeah, I definitely want to talk to some people when we get there.
All right, let me essentially break this down for you. Gina recognizes some of the people here and is looking for people that she knows, because she thinks that the two of you need to get out of town. There's too many corporations after them. Whatever just went down, the firepower that just came down on your heads, you've made powerful enemies. Gina is going to hook up with the next Nomad caravan out of here, leave Night City behind, and vanish. And hell, get as far away from the Pacific Northwest as she can, since that's sort of Biotechnica's home territory. She thinks you should do the same.
Gina, the problem is this whole ride out here, thinking about these cars, thinking about the way of life that that these nomads have, that's the joy that I want to bring back to Night City. No, that I want to package and market to Night City. I can't leave, Gina. There's too much potential. There's too much for me to do here. But with everything you've taught me, I think I want to do it right. And so I think I'm going to stay. But I don't want to lose the guidance of the Nomads. How can I ingratiate myself to them and let them know that I am entirely on their side, push come to shove? Blech. Teach me their culture.
You'd have to stay here for a while to pick up on that. But Gina's not going to be out of here immediately, so she can stay in contact with you as you take care of your business inside the city. She can talk to some people, see if if the Nomads have any jobs in town, if there's any way for you to start meeting more of them, hang out at their bars, so on and so forth. She'll see what she can do. You did make good on your promise to get her the hell out of there. And she does feel like she owes you.
Nice.
Though she's also going to say that, yeah, okay, the Biotechnica thing, sure, that came down on our heads, but the rest of this, I disavow all knowledge. Don't know what that was about. Not my fault.
Oh, yeah, that was all Jim. We really got swept up in some craziness, yeah. Don't know where any of that came from.
Surprised popsicle face.
I'm rolling over in my icebox.
Several miles, kilometers, I want to say, away.
All right. After that, and she says that you can hide out here if you need to, though it's not like this is your home. You know, this isn't your home territory just yet, but she'll put in a good word for you where she can until she finally gets the hell out of here.
Cool.
Once you've done that, you've got at least a place for you to hide. Are you going to take up Todd on his invitation?
Yeah, I want to kind of do like that sort of long rest thing, get everything straightened out, and then, yeah, I'm eventually going to wander back and see Todd in my full corporate disguise with no indication that I've been hanging out with car nomads in the desert.
How long do you want to take off? How injured are you right now?
I am not that injured. Yeah. I had about 5 HP lost.
Okay. I believe that you heal your body score every day of full rest. So, if you want to take a full rest, we're going to cut over to Jerax.
Yes, I'll take a full rest.
Okay. All right, you hang out at the Aldecalo Nomad camp. People are coming in looking for work all the time. It's bustling. There's, my neighbor behind my house works on his car a lot. So if you've ever heard those sort of sounds and smells, just imagine that multiplied by 100.
Nice.
All right.
A lot of clinking, clanking, and oil. Nice.
Jerax.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, the last thing you were conscious of was going into a cryo pump, feeling the anesthetic kicking in, the pain finally going away. And after that, if you've been under anesthetic before, most of the time what happens is you just sort of immediately wake up from it. You have very little perception of time passing. It varies for everyone who goes under anesthesia. But the next thing you know, your body feels just incredibly numb, and your mind is just floating around. You've got the spins. You can't even move. There's some sort of a heavy pressure all over you, and your vision is blurry. There's a bright light in your face, and you can still only see out of one eye. There's this chemical smell, and as you come to, allow me to introduce you to your surroundings. And I'm going to make a tweak here so that the rest of the party can see what's going on as well.
Oh, I see it on the vMix.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, no, that works. Great.
Hashtag production value, baby.
I know. I thank you to Ian, our producer. Things are so much better now that I'm not multitasking and somebody competent is doing it. So that's fantastic. Shout out to Ian.
We even got music, dog.
I know.
We had clown music before.
We did
Shut
have
up.
clown
I don't
music,
wanna talk- I
but
don't-
it was a
I don't
clown
want to talk.
operator.
I don't want to talk about clowns. I never want to see clowns. I never want to be involved with that ever again. Okay? Hope everyone is clear. Never, ever again.
Well, the good news is that you definitely wiped out the bozos, and there's definitely no chance that they may have survived and could be reclaiming their resources and rising to power.
Definitely.
That's not a thing that's going to happen
Definitely.
later in this campaign.
Good.
You are in the surgical chamber. You are looking up at an operating light. You are not out of anesthesia. Like you're still really disoriented. Everything, it's that shot that they do in movies where you've got, blurry multi images of everything. And again, your whole body just feels like you've got 3 weighted blankets on top of you, and it's vaguely squishy. Maybe you're still in the cryo pump?
I'd like to roll something to just essentially either like a cybertech check, or maybe not cybertech, that wouldn't be my immediate one. Maybe a medicine check, possibly, or meditech, just to kind of get a feel for. I'm trying to understand what the hell has happened to me. From point A to
Surgery.
point B. As soon as, surgery, okay. As soon as I wake up, I immediately want to take stock of my condition, of all
Okay.
major organs, things like this. See if everything's intact, using my medical knowledge to understand if anything is currently wrong or still ongoing.
Mm-hmm. You have a -4 on this because of your current condition, but well, an 18 total. We'll take those.
I'll take that any day of the week.
So you quickly realize a few things. The way that the cryo pumps work, once you're inside the cryo pump and essentially in cryogenic stasis, it's set up where there are gloves built into the bag, so you can actually do surgery on somebody without taking them out of the pump. Most of your body is still in the cryo pump, but it's also been opened up. So you're like half in, half out. It's like in the morgue when they unzip the body bag just down to the navel. It's like that in the cryo pump. Again, just taking stock of things is really hard because it's hard to tell when you're this drugged out and numbed out if your cyber limbs are functioning or not. You are definitely drugged. Probably, again, one of the anesthetic drugs that's been used. You're not sure why you're awake. And you realize that there's medical paper around your face. You can't really move your neck. And you can't see half of your face. And that whole half is incredibly numb. Your face is still open in surgery.
Huh.
You hear an announcement on the intercom.
Code Orange. Code Orange. All medical personnel, please report. Code Orange.
You recognize Code Orange with your medical training as a hazardous spill, biohazard or chemical hazard, etc.
Well, that wouldn't be near me, right?
You don't see anything like that. In fact, you're totally alone in here except for one nurse.
Huh.
Who walks over to the table, takes out a light, and shines it down at you.
Can I
Looking at your
speak?
eye. Roll a... Do you have endurance? If you don't have endurance, do resist drugs as a check.
Yes. 9.
You cannot speak. You cannot speak. Like, you can barely move your face. You barely even move. You would say, with that fantastic medical knowledge, that the nurse is probably checking your pupils for dilation. But you did something. The nurse puts the light down, reaches down, and pulls out a tablet and holds it above you so you can see its contents. It clicks to life, and an obscured portrait appears on it.
Good
evening, Mr. Ashwater. My apologies for the intrusion. I can see this is a rather sensitive moment for you. But we've been waiting so long for this reunion, I'm afraid we couldn't contain ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, I can't talk, can I? So.
Not yet. You can try again to talk right now if you want.
Oh
Give me
yeah,
a
I'll
fresh
try
roll.
and
Unless there's something
I'll try
else
and
you would like to do.
respond.
Nope.
Today's not your
Sort of
day.
Open your mouth and a little air passes through, but that's it.
Can I blink in my one eye?
Yeah.
Can I?
Blink.
Do I know Morse code?
I don't think that's on your.
It's
on your
definitely
character
not. Yeah, I mean, there's not much I can do in this scenario.
The nurse sets the tablet down right next to you. You can no longer see the obscured silhouette, but the voice continues to talk, now almost directly into your ear.
Mm-hmm.
I'm afraid that some of your cybernetic components are government property, though I'm sure you knew that when you stole them and dipped across the pond. You certainly went to extreme lengths to keep yourself hidden. Imagine our surprise when some helpful strangers rang us with your exact location. You seem to have a knack for making friends.
The nurse opens up a medical bag containing scalpel, drill, a set of pliers, a wide variety of syringes. Based on your knowledge of medical procedure, you're starting to suspect that this individual may not have gone to school and may not be a licensed RN. What do you do?
I'm gonna try and move my cyber arm. Essentially,
Okay.
I'm gonna try and see if I have control of it.
Roll a cyberware check. Again at -4.
Cyberware check. Where is cyberware? Cybertech or?
Cybertech, yes, cybertech.
Yeah. Okay.
Ooh, Pogger.
Very
Okay.
Hoggies.
The flesh is weak, but the metal is strong. Your cyber arms are both under your full control, and they can move, though like the flesh that connects to them is still weak. They are totally under your control. And there are some new components here as well. As you tap in and just do an internal inventory, your vision suddenly is just blinding, and then it narrows down, and you have vision in both of your eyes again. And
That's
not
new.
only that, but your right eye, as you focus on things, it zooms in for up to
Okay.
100 times magnification.
So there's a couple of things I want to do with this new information. Presumably, I'm still numbed, but I can move my arms. So,
Correct.
okay. Is this guy aiming for anything in particular?
Oh, right now he's just making a big show of unpacking his magic murder bag.
Okay.
He doesn't seem to have
know.
started his work yet. He just wants you to see all of the toys that he brought with him.
Okay. My goal is to get him to come closer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in on his jugular. And my plan is, in a moment, I'm going to try and murmur something, or like, just try and get him to come close. And then in a moment, the plan is to, because I have presumably control over my cyberarms, the plan is to essentially fucking just insert my hand into his jugular and rip it out.
Okay.
I don't
Roll
know
a resist.
how feasible this is.
Roll a resist drugs and torture check.
Okay, gonna need a good roll here.
Oh boy.
That's a good roll. Holy!
Oh my god. Pseudo RNG.
Wow.
That is 2 crits in a row.
Oh my
Okay.
god!
You still have-
Poggerino.
You're still heavily drugged. You still have a -4 on all your rolls. But you can feel your body responding. A jolt of adrenaline as you realize what's going on starts to counteract the effects. And you summon all of your willpower. Because another thing I'm going to say, this situation, your amygdala is lighting up with incredible threat awareness and adrenaline. But it all seems sort of far away from you. I mean, that's only a problem for some of you, right? The metal parts of your body work fine. He's only going to go after the vulnerable, fleshy, inferior parts. So, yes, this is a serious situation, but should you really be that concerned about it?
No, I'm very calm in this moment.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You want to mutter something to get him to draw close, right? What would you like to do specifically?
I am going to... I am going to... Presumably... I don't know. Okay, I'm going to act as if I'm choking to try and bait him in closer. Just within
Oh
range.
god.
So I'm going to...
Roll.
Acting.
Roll an acting check.
I'm going to roll to act.
There we go.
9, because of
that's
your
a 9.
-4 penalty. Mm-hmm. Do you wish to spend any luck? All like 1 or 2 luck that you have?
Yeah, sure. I'll spend 2.
Okay, bring that up to an 11. You hear the voice speaking in your ear.
Well, since you're busy, we'll not bother you with fixing our accounts. We'll just take what's owed to us and leave you to your business. It's been a pleasure, Mr. Ashwater. Goodbye.
The nurse picks up a syringe, a very large syringe, and a scalpel, and then hears you coughing and sputtering, and sort of walks over just at the edge of your reach, but just inside the edge of your reach. Roll a brawling check.
Okay. Is it only
You
-2
have-
because I get +2 with the cyber arms, but -4 overall?
Because he doesn't see this coming because of your impeccable acting, this is actually going to be a straight up versus check.
Okay.
Oh, that's tragic.
Oh no!
Oh! Oh, critical failure!
Oh god, yes! Yes!
Okay. As he leans over, you sort of flail and you can feel sort of disappointment as, yes, the arms are only cybernetic from this point, and that additional muscle is required in order to get maximum flexibility. Another failure of the flesh. But unfortunately for him, he jumps. Like in every single movie where the body bag moves and everyone just jolts, that's exactly what he does, in the exact wrong direction, directly towards your outstretched cyber arms. So you punch directly into his squishy parts.
Yeah.
Roll your cyber arm. Oh, you don't have that set up. Roll 2d6.
Okay. Just straight up
yeah,
2d6?
just roll. Yeah, just straight up 2d6.
That's
And
not
I'm gonna
bad.
say his critical failure counts as a 6. So I'm gonna let you roll in the critical injuries chart for this. So you deal 10 damage plus an extra 5 points of damage. It is reduced by his armor, but melee weapons ignore half of armor. So splorch and roll 2d6.
Another 2d6?
Yeah, this is on the chart. This is to see
Oh my
what
God.
critical injury we get on the chart.
Another 10.
All right. Critical injuries. Spinal injury. You go in for the jugular, You don't quite rip it open and cause him to bleed profusely, but you hear a crack as metal encounters vertebrae. And he tries to scream, and it doesn't quite come out right. Roll for initiative.
Now, on my screen, I'm still in the tunnel. I'm still in the underground, the nuke tunnel. I've just been watching off of VMix.
Nope.
Okay, I have been transported.
Excellent. Yeah, I didn't realize I probably had you there earlier.
That is okay. Roll for initiative.
Yeah, I had split the party last time. That's right. All right, and I committed the cardinal sin. I didn't have it selected. Oh well, you get to go again. What do you do?
Step 1, assess injuries. Step 2, discombobulate. Already got through those two. In fact, step 2 went a little bit too far, and I not only discombobulated him, but I potentially crippled him. So I'm gonna go again. You got to go for round 2 now. I want to try and pull him closer, essentially. Hopefully, if that's a possibility, I want to start trying to choke him out.
Okay. Yep, that's going to be an opposed.
I don't know if I have access to the rest of my body. Presumably, the fleshy parts are still weak, and like nulled from the anesthetic. But yeah, I want to basically just bring him into my range. So I don't think I can move.
You are going to make a brawling check. You are still at -2. It would be -4, but +2 for your cyber arms. He has a spinal injury. All right, well, that doesn't really affect his ability to make this roll. Go ahead and roll. You're at a net -2 here. You go first, and you have to beat his roll.
Come
7.
on! Come on!
All right, what have I got? Oh, what the hell?
Get the hell out of here.
That's amazing.
Another
you don't have
critical
to be
failure.
good, you just
What
have to be
is
lucky.
this?
Wow.
Oh, yes!
Oh my god. All right, well, I guess the fact that you just, disjointed his vertebra makes it a little bit difficult. You have successfully grabbed him. Both of you are now considered to be in a grapple. You both take a -2. The defender can't... Okay, all right. You've got him. And here's the real kicker, right? You reach out with your cyber arm and you just grab him and like by the neck. Normally, he would just try to move away. But you messed up. He can't move while he's in a grapple. And because you messed up his spine, he can't do anything else. So he's just there foaming at the mouth, undergoing this, It's now your turn again. He's starting to recover from the injury that you inflicted on him.
Is it a
can
free
choose to
action
choke him if you-
I just want to turn my whatever cyber eye I've got. I want to turn it red for extra intimidation. Yeah, just
That's a
extra
free action.
like really just to, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna keep choking him out.
Okay.
Just a brawling
All
check
right.
again.
Nope, you don't have to make a roll. What's your body?
My body is at a 5.
Okay, you deal 5 points of damage. He is going to try to get out of... Actually, no. While he's still in the grapple, he's going to reach over, grab one of the syringes, and try to jam it into your body somewhere.
Is there anything I can do to stop that?
Yeah, there is. Give me 1 sec. I'm going to pull up the relevant section. I know it's in here. It's essentially going to be an opposed roll.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're just going to do this with an opposed brawling roll for the time being, and I'll look up the full rule again in a moment. Roll brawling. It still comes out to a net -2. Roll it.
Oh god, you didn't crit fail.
I didn't. You're screwed now, and you did.
Somebody had to. Oh.
Okay, flick, you feel the hypodermic needle go into your neck as you've got your hand around his. Roll a resist drugs check at -4.
He rolled 0.
12.
16. 12. Okay. You've just been injected with something. You have no idea what it is. You can feel a burning sensation where it hit you.
Burning?
Yeah. Like a burning
Okay.
as it enters your body.
Oh,
But you're not
Jesus.
dead. Your turn. He's grievously injured, by the way. He's seriously wounded.
Yeah, he looks like he's out of it.
Yeah.
Can I remove this needle? Or will that give up my choking
That would-
opportunity?
That would give up your choking opportunity.
All right, let's keep killing him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Your cybernetic arm, the hand clenches around his neck. He gurgles, and then, where it was already weakened, the bones pop apart. He seizes,
Oh.
his eyes go, his whole face tenses up, and then he goes limp.
Yeah.
Roll another
Okay,
resist drugs check.
That's a 9.
9. Okay. You take 7 points of damage.
Okay. I am very weak. I'm on 5 health.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I'm going to rip out this needle for one,
Okay.
if I can do that.
Yeah,
I'd like to
you're fine.
assess what... I am good. It stopped injecting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel it coursing through my body.
It's really hard for you to feel much of anything. You're still heavily numbed.
Okay. Jesus, what do I do in this scenario?
You could roll
Um,
Meditech. I mean, here's the good news, right? You're literally in an operating theater.
Yeah. I am
There's going to
indeed.
be stuff
So,
nearby.
time to operate on myself is what you're saying. All right, what we got? What we working with?
All right, so directly over you is, it's not just a light, it's a whole robotic surgery suite of some sort. It's got a cutting laser on it, some blades. There's like a tray of chemicals nearby. You could also just zip yourself back up inside the cryo pump and turn the damn thing back on.
So this thing is an automatic surgery robot?
Yep, that's what this is.
Okay. Can I hack into it with my interface check?
Yes, that was the other option for dealing with this guy. You do locate a network port nearby.
Okay.
And for the sake of expedience, rather than having you go through the whole architecture that I set up in case you wanted to try to laser drill this guy's brain open instead of crushing him with your hands, I'm going to have you roll a surgery check.
Yeah. Surgery.
12.
16.
Okay.
So 12.
Yep,
Awesome.
you're able, and you also get like a clear vision of yourself. You can see the muscle exposed from where they were still doing the installation on your cyber eye. Like literally, you were open for operation, and now you're looking at yourself through this robot. But you are the best surgeon you know, and
That's
from
true,
here you
actually,
can control you can control your IV flow. And normally, a thing like this, it would have been hard to be objective enough. Like you could probably get through it, but now you're just like, yes, we just have to, these pieces are broken, these pieces aren't, and you can literally perform surgery on yourself. All right.
Great.
So-
Now, I already know that this rogue nurse that was sent in is presumably an enemy from the UK of when I ended up stealing cyberware and corporate secrets.
Yeah,
of
that
the
thing
US.
that's not going to come back to bite you until episode 30, if I recall from the show's intro.
Exactly. Yeah, I definitely thought that was the case, and it immediately did. So, yeah, that's the timeline sped up a little bit. But presumably, my favor was called in. They were performing surgery on me, and a biospill was called, which meant that they had to leave the room.
Sensibly, yes.
That is the situation, and they were conducting surgery. So I don't know if it makes sense to keep conducting it on myself, because I may fuck it up, unless it's just like an automatic success, because I'm actually just so good at what I do. I'm just amazing. I mean, it might make sense to just leave them to come in and finish the job, to be honest.
Okay. It's your call.
Nah, fuck, it's more fun to just do surgery on myself. I'm going to do that.
Besides, somebody else could do it wrong. You made your DC 12 roll as you begin to perform the operation. And yeah, so you just go through every single piece of it. Like whenever you feel pain, you just mentally tell the machine to adjust the anesthetics while monitoring your levels. Like you literally do open face surgery on yourself. And from here, you're able to get some of the additional information about what work they've had. They installed a cyber eye. They've installed something into your sinuses and your mucous membranes. And there is a nanite layer growing inside your skin. It's going to take a few days for that to come to full fruition, but it is growing, leaving artificial like material in your skin, silicone and such, weaving a lattice throughout your body.
Okay. Actually turning into the Terminator. I'm down for it.
Now, eventually, the operatives do come back inside the room, and at that point, like you're already putting the finishing touches on yourself. You discover
that must be such a sight to leave this guy and he's finishing the surgery off.
And the robot's just.
Yeah.
All right. Now, moving along so that half of our cast doesn't sit on their ass the entire episode, you discover the following when you're able to crack open. Your favor was called in with a high-ranking executive at Rockland Augmentics. They didn't transport you to their actual HQ. They transported you to a cyber clinic that they sort of have a surreptitious connection to in order to make it under the radar. They get you all patched up with no further questions asked. They want to make it clear that you're even now. And so they're going to get you in good shape, give you a nice meal, give you a nice shower, stitch you up, and then, you're back on your own. But that tablet, well, not on the tablet. The tablet basically self-destructs when it's done. But the operative who you took out, he had some mentalware that you're able to crack open. In it, you find a dossier on Jim Fingers. It specifically has notes on the job he sent your brother on when your brother burned out in the network. And you recognize some of the documentation in here as coming from the intelligence industry over in the UK, the one that you screwed over. And just hidden inside the metadata for this file is a little tag somewhere in there, D6.
Fucking D6, huh?
Mm-hmm. There's another file in there too. It's on the job list for this assassin for hire, right? It's sort of next up in his to-do list.
Mm-hmm.
It's a file on Asfaldo and Maria Mendron. It has the apartment complex where they work, where they live, a link to Oro Mendron's, well, that wasn't his real name, but to Oro's Garden Patch website where he posted all of his content, a dossier on the Monarch who he's worked with, any jobs that are the Monarch is suspected of being involved on, and contact information for Babylon and the Red Chrome Legion. All in the same file.
Okay. You touch my parents, I swear to God, I'll kill your ass. You don't even know. I'll rip your little cordless ass limb from limb. I'll turn you into a router. I'll turn you into a router so fast you wouldn't even know what happened to you. All right, you'll be a Roomba.
The assassination job.
You'll be a Roomba after you're done after I'm done with you.
Okay, I can't deal with this guy. You're in a cryotube. Stop talking.
He says from his cryo tube.
It's cryo pump, completely different. All right. So, armed with this information, we are going to cut back over to Natalie. Natalie, you've had a day to recoup. You've had a chance to recover some of your health. You've gotten a chance to hang out with the Nomads, who have stories of the open road, the radioactive wastelands that they've passed. Okay, the world didn't get nuked, so it's just wastelands, not the radioactive kind. You want radiation, you're already in the right place. But they've got, the mega dust bowls that are on the road, the gigantic areas of the West that have been fortified by corpos, where they're growing the grain they use to make the fuel that all cars drive on. The road warrior gangs that they've run into, all sorts of stories about what life is like outside of the city, which is not something you've really experienced. You get a chance to hang out with them, and you get the impression that, let's say, for example, if you accumulated enough improvement points and wanted to put your next one into the Moto skill, which is the key skill for Nomads instead of the corporate skill, then that might be an option if you hang out with the right crowd.
Heck yeah, I am working really hard to ingratiate myself to this crew. Of course, I always travel with, my kibble snack packs. So I've been like kind of hanging around on the fire at night, handing out any food I've got, sharing stories of my clown murders with the ice cream truck, which I imagine they would appreciate. Vehicular manslaughter.
Yes, that will get some mileage. That will get some mileage.
Excellent. I regale them with my tales, and what I'm trying to do here is network a little bit. So, I'm like, oh, you should add me on Agent Book. We should stay in touch. Would love to show you around the city sometime. Yes, Execulink.
Yeah. There's a disconnect between your life experience and schmoozing versus, hanging out. But we'll come back to your success on that later. Todd he's probably sending more texts than is appropriate, but he's just under, like, you can tell he's done the math in his head of how frequently he thinks is appropriate to contact you. And he did the math wrong, or his premises were wrong, but it's clearly
too
trying
regular.
To it's exactly.
It's every
like
14 to 17 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
What Natalie's kind of searching for is that, like, that comfortable feeling that she would have people that would be concerned if anything happened to her were she to go to this meeting. And so she kind of had that illusion with the people at her apartment building. And so she's thinking very wistfully of times with Jerax and Jim Fingers and even that other guy that was always about shooting people in the face. So before she heads to Todd, I want to make an attempt to contact, anybody and just I'm going to send the agreed upon code that we all kind of discussed amongst ourselves before we parted ways and it went into tubes and stuff, which is you up ? And it's a lot of question marks, so they know it's Natalie sending it.
Okay, that goes out to the group message, and you even out here in the outskirts, you still have access to the citywide data pool. So the only person who would receive that, yeah, exactly. The only person who would receive that message would be Jerax, who has had time to recuperate. And also, Jerax, you were able to get high quality medical attention here, so you were able to get antibiotics and some insta-heal. So I'm going to have you heal your body plus your will times 2.
Ooh,
should be 20
that's
if I did the math earlier.
That's a lot of healing. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That is indeed 20. So I'm on 25 hit points.
Yep.
Not up to 100%, but we'll get there.
Yep. And you are in contact with Natalie.
So I've just received a message with codes saying, what was it?
Just said
very elaborate code.
The letter U space up and then a bunch of question marks. It's basically like what we agreed upon to like check in on each other, but we were going to play it off as we were some sort of like thruple, and not at all
Sure.
a
Sorry,
malicious
what?
sect.
Some kind of what?
Natalie did a lot of this in her head, but she just said, "I'll message you,"
talk to
and this is the
anybody.
message.
I'm gonna write back. I'm gonna type it actually in the thing. The white rabbit arrived at midnight. I have fed the crows. Await further instructions.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this was not an agreed upon code by anybody except Jerax, who thought of this on his own and did a lot of thinking.
Yeah, Natalie stares at her phone so long trying to interpret this, and really the only conclusion that she could arrive at is she brought this upon herself by trying to initiate code talk in the first place. So eventually, she just writes back, out of town at gonna swing by Todd onto a back. Need anything? And then again, like a million question marks.
Yeah,
That's about how I would type that on my phone.
I am
This is like an
perfectly
opening.
adequate. Thank you for your consideration.
We call that Todd speak.
That was the cyber part of my body speaking. It took over for a second.
Natalie recalls the hits that Jerax took to his personality in order to get his cyberware upgrades, and fights down the terror of Todd talk that it instills in her, and just says, okay, if I'm not there in a few days, worry. Smiley face. All right, well, now I feel like people are looking out for me.
Okay, I'm just going to do a spell check on that one.
Jerax has reached a state of ascension, the true, what's it called? The singularity, which is where you actually care about spelling and grammar.
Yep. I have contingencies set up.
Nice. Smile. Smile.
All right, and so
yeah, Natalie is. Yeah. She's gonna go see Todd.
Right on. All right, is everybody looking at either pitch darkness on Roll20 or at the augmentation clinic if you have vision? I just want to make sure everyone's seeing the same thing. It's early.
I have. Let me see. I have pitch black.
All right,
Now
cool.
I have
now
the city.
I got the map.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So you make your way from the Aldecalo Nomad camp up through Santo Domingo, past the heavily fortified executive zone, which is sort of corpo nirvana, right? It's like if you really make your way in the world, then you get to live in the executive zone. And to the Channel 54 tower. Upon your arrival, barring anything else that you wanted to do or say along the way, you are allowed in. Apparently you're already on the list. They welcome you inside. They give you some nice organic water, which is branding you're familiar with from Continental. Like it's totally a Continental brand style thing to do. And Todd's secretary will usher you in to his office. Which is on like the 50th floor. And
what's
spacious.
Todd's secretary like?
If you had to like look up in a casting agency, I want you to play the most helpful corporate not the casting agency for like Ghostbusters. I'm talking the casting agency for a company training film. Of course, I'd be happy to help you. Please write this way. You're on the list. And enjoy the rest of your day.
I want to kind of make small talk with her on the way up, and I'll be like, oh gosh, so how long have you been working for Todd?
2 days.
Wow, that's quite the tenure. How's it been?
Everything is perfectly adequate. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, when she says perfectly adequate, she is now dead to me. So we're gonna move onward to Todd's office.
All right. He's got this entire wall is all windows. He's got this shiny desk with a fancy hollow display on it. He's got weird art scattered throughout the room. It doesn't really scream Todd. It screams more like this is our default quirk, like semi-quirk, just quirky enough to get you some cred executive suite package number 337. And when you arrive, he is standing with his back to you and his arms folded, looking out the window, the exact position he was in at the WorldSat office, where he worked until 2 days ago, apparently.
Cool. I'm going to. Does the secretary leave or stay?
Oh, the secretary's in the room outside. She's not. She like
Got
is
it.
going to usher you into the room, and then you go through, and the door closes, and you hear this little as the sound dampeners kick in.
So Natalie is going to avoid acting in any way impressed and try and bring this back on even standing here. So she's not going to approach Todd, but she's going to walk up to sort of his quirky decor and start picking it up and moving it around and manhandling it and like, oh, this is a nice office, Todd. Very you. I did not know you were into bronzed elk. This is a new hobby of yours. So, what is this place, Todd? What the hell is this?
You've been taken care of, Natalie. Do you need water, a shower, extra nutrients? You've been through quite the ordeal. We want to make sure you're entirely comfortable and in perfect operating condition.
Yes, I'm sure for my own benefit. What do you know
Of course.
exactly about the ordeal that I've been through? Sorry, Todd?
I actually believe you may have more information about that than I do. Please have a seat.
No thanks. And I'm gonna just kind of lean against this thing over here. Actually, no, I'm gonna walk over to the window and I'm gonna I'm gonna put my arms behind my back and just sort of regard him over my shoulder.
Mm-hmm. So the
Hold
two
on,
of you
I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Just so you guys know, I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Be right back.
do your thing. All right, so the two of you standing, both trying to out dramatic the other. I heard that there was a firefight and an explosion. Most unfortunate.
Yeah, that's not what a gal likes for, the place she lives. Todd, first you come around trying to buy my parking spot, and then you show up on the day my apartment gets raided? What are you doing?
I am involved in a number of long-term ventures.
Wow, that's funny because when I thought we were involved in a long-term venture, you couldn't commit, but here you are just long-term venturing about. And 2 days. Wow. Particularly long-term here, Todd. So why? Why are you still contacting me? You seem so comfortable with these long-term ventures that you've got.
Yes, look what they've got me. I'm on the 50th floor. I have a very impressive title. My name tag out on there, that's carved from mostly copper with a layer of titanium and some holographic inlay. But let me cut to the chase. I would be happy to explain a little bit of what's happening, and I believe you may benefit from a new job offer. In exchange, I'd like to hear about what happened on the ground.
A job offer from you, Todd? That's
Let's consider your
hardly a
situation,
prize to
Natalie.
dangle in front of me.
Let's consider your situation. Do you really think you're going to be able to go back to work as if nothing happened?
Is that what you think I want, Todd?
I'm not sure.
Because
but
I want
thought
it
I'd
so
offer you a-
bad. I miss my job. Oh, God. This is a fantastic office. Oh, the floor is so nice. Did you say that was copper overlay and your name on the door? Jesus, Todd.
There is.
How do you do this again and again?
You see, Natalie, you've always had a singular vision and focus, and I admired that about you. It's what I saw in you in the first place, until our unfortunate misunderstanding. You have a knack for cutting away the extraneous to seize an objective. I've chosen to fully commit to that. I found ideology to be a detriment. Direction is all that is required. Everything that you've envisioned, this fine office with its lovely 50th floor view, even a small home with picturesque various grass species that are technically extinct at this point, is all achievable. But not the way the world is now.
Todd, I want all those different grasses in my yard. She flops down in the chair across from his desk and takes the cup of organic water with 2 hands and just kind of dejectedly sips. What's the job like?
We're going to start you in our office services department as an executive office services manager. You'll work here, not on the 50th floor immediately. We need to insinuate you into the overall superstructure of the organization, make sure that you have lots of contacts, give people the opportunity to see your work ethic in practice, and I can offer you immediately a new place to live. Network 54 will provide you with a con-apt for your all your living purposes. Rent fully paid, not in the combat zone.
A new house? And a job
Well,
where
you know.
people would be sure to truly appreciate my skills?
Absolutely.
And what did you need, Todd?
A few things. First off, I want you to tell me exactly what happened.
Well, if you're willing to put it all into a contract and just let me have my lawyers look over it, I'm sure this is something that could be
The holo
arranged.
display in front of you immediately changes to
God
be
damn
a
it.
contract floating in the air right in front of you, and it's scrollable, parsable. You can copy the text to your agent as needed. He already had it all written up.
I'm gonna sit there and read it for like as long
Okay.
as it takes.
Roll a bureaucracy check.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
If anybody
Oof.
is better at bureaucracy than you, it's Todd. You have a lot of excitement worked up over like everything that he's showing off and dangling in front of you, combined with the completely different life vision that Gina and her nomad friends just showed you, combined with the whereabouts of your friends and all the trauma you've been through, combined with the fact that you just committed vehicular clown slaughter and it was kind of fun. It's just a lot going on right now, and it makes it hard for you to parse through the weasel words in the contract. But the apartment's in
Well-
there, salary's in there, and if you exceed your nominal performance levels, you're eligible to be assigned your own assistant and direct reports from a pool of qualified candidates of your choice.
My choice?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I mean, everyone has to go through
Ah.
company approval, but let's say you need a net runner for some of your operations, or, well, I mean, you could get a driver. You're already very talented at that, or a bodyguard. There's a wide variety of people who could be assigned to your team.
Budget and headcount? I don't think you could offer something more exciting to Natalie. She's really into this contract and she's apparently unable to see anything that might be wrong with it, but she does want to do one check. And
Mhm.
she's kind of going to move it aside and look at Todd. And she's like, "And what if I don't end up liking the job and I want to quit, Todd?"
Well, I quit WorldSat. Simply a means to an end.
Blew up world set, she says quietly.
And and for related reasons, employment there was no longer advantageous to my continued advancement.
That's an answer Natalie really actually vibes with. So, yeah, she's gonna sign that contract.
Okay. Bloop. He opens his drawer and pulls out the keys to your new apartment and hands them to you. And says, "Of course, these are merely symbolic. I thought you'd appreciate the gesture. The digital, security information will be sent to you as part of your onboarding package, along with the standard NDA, so on and so forth. Now, where is Mr. Fingers?"
Natalie's actually still just kind of fixated on these keys, and it was kind of like something he remembered about me that I kind of like this like nostalgic stuff, and like I'm starting to wonder like if Todd is maybe, I don't know, maybe he's actually always liked me, and this is just how he's gonna show me. And so she's kind of like, Jim, Todd, what does Jim matter?
I have a vested interest as the next phase of my continued advancement, which I would like to bring you along with me. But a great deal of this hinges on what happened at your old, rundown, combat zone, far less attractive, sometimes the running water didn't work, apartment.
It wasn't that bad there, and Jim was the landlord, and what's important now is I actually don't know where Jim went. Is that weird? Like, it got kind of crazy, and I'm not gonna lie, I just ran. But I ended up here, Todd, and we're together now, so again, what does it matter?
It matters because if we're going
Keeps
to create
getting
the
up in his
world-
personal space, too. Just like,
He doesn't. It's kind of weird. Like, at this point, you'd expect him to sort of like pull back or lean in and give the smolder. He's not cool and detached, but he's still wearing those damn shades and stuff, and so he doesn't seem to be uncomfortable with your increased proximity.
it's like one of those
says-
guards at like the Queen's Palace.
Yeah, kind of.
Oh, yeah, just like.
This is how we climb. Jim Fingers is in possession of information that can be of great use to us and help us move a couple of rungs up the org chart.
All right. Well, I don't know. I'll reach out to him and find out. I'll let you know. What day of the week is it? On Monday.
Oh God. Perfect. It's it's actually it is Monday today.
Well, let me get in touch with him, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Excellent. The coordinates for your new place are all locked in. Enjoy. And after you go through orientation, let's talk again.
Okay. I look forward to it, Todd.
He smiles.
I don't think I've seen Todd
Well,
smile even like before his surgery, so this is
Roll a human perception
Natalie
check
has notes too.
with a penalty because you're reading answers in here that you want to see. Oh, a critical. Okay, wow.
I know Todd though.
Mm-hmm. You know how they talk about smiles that don't reach the eyes? That's what this is. You're not sure what exactly that means. Maybe it's just his emotions are that deadened, and this is like, if he's feeling this, he's going to show this because of what happened to him. Or maybe he feels absolutely nothing. Like, it's just a very flat, like...
I can't
Which
decide.
really
if this
is
means
not
that he's
fitting
seen
your
through
vibe
me.
right now.
Okay.
Maybe.
Got it. So I'm like, ha ha, and then I leave.
All right. All right. How are you going to link up with Jerax?
I'm gonna head back to the car and let's see. I'm gonna text you, Jerax, and just see. Jay, Wanna grab a soda pop?
Sure. Let's meet where I had pants on my head.
As a haha, you wild, and we're gonna head back to the exploded building, parking
Okay.
garage.
The two of you meet in. It was part of the near the Glen, near this area right here, and near the old corporate center where they're trying to reconstruct a new corporate area, a new ring of skyscrapers around the edge. But again, it was close enough to the combat zone to cause trouble. So the two of you meet there, and the recovering suburbs and the gigantic skyscrapers on the outer perimeter of the city are replaced by the gunshots and the mazes of rubble that you're sort of more used to at this point. By this time that you meet, let's say for the sake of ambiance, late evening, sky setting, burning red horizon, and you're familiar with sort of the rooftops in the area. There's a lot of condemned structures, abandoned structures, and that whole building is cordoned off because of the radiation hazard, which is a new exciting radiation hazard instead of the old boring hot zone radiation hazards we already had. All right. What will the two of you do?
I'd like to be stood kind of dramatically, but not intentionally, against a neon sign with my
Okay.
my hands in my pockets and my one red eye glowing, you know?
Nice. By this time, we're going to say 2 days total have passed, and the lattice of nanites in your skin are still growing. It's not really visible. You're just aware of it because you're in tune with your cyberware. You're sort of monitoring the diagnostic progress. I still have this map. I'll pull it up in a moment. All right. He stands dramatically, this one red light burning against the neon background.
When Natalie sees Jerax, by the way, she's kind of so excited, and she's been like in these very safe spaces back to back where like she thought she had control in the office, and she was very comfortable with the Nomads. So she sees Jerax, and she's like, "Yeah, Jerax, yes!" She gives him a big old hug. That like, I don't know if you have any broken ribs, but sorry if you do. And then she kind of like pulls back, and she goes, "Your face."
Yes. Hello, Natalie. I've had a couple of upgrades as I look to the side. And just let it hang for like 3 seconds, really awkward like.
Mm-hmm.
You seem to want this, so Natalie's like, "Cool! Very cool. You look, it's very cool."
How have you survived?
Oh gosh, well, I mean, Gina and I took a bit of a road trip, and we were out in the desert, and it was wild, man. They've got these trucks out there, and anyway, after that, Todd called me, and he was like, "I've got a job for you," and I was like, "Cool!" So, I took that job, but I want you to know, and she gets like very serious out of nowhere, and she's like, "I may have a way to get into the company, into some files. I might even be able to bring you guys on board, and worst case scenario, I've got an out with the Nomads and a plan, so..."
Impressive, very impressive. How are you dealing with the terrorists?
Natalie looks left and looks right, and she goes, "Terrorists."
Yes, Jim didn't tell you?
Oh, No, I haven't heard from Jim. You were actually the only one that texted me back, Jerax.
Yeah, I'm well aware of where they're at. Well, I think that we can solve two birds with one stone. Jim made a deal with some domestic terrorists to sell the nuke to them in exchange for something. I don't know what. Jim's kind of dumb. But the point is, we can kind of combine these two problems into one solution by getting both the Monarch and Jim free at the same time.
Well, I'm all for getting Jim out, but the Monarch? I mean,
I have a way to deal with the Monarch.
do we need anybody shot in the face?
I think
Well,
we will.
if you're
We're
confident-
yeah.
Okay. Well,
So
I'm
my
here
plan
for
is, my plan is to call up the domestic terrorists, tell them where the nuke is, but unfortunately Miss Frizz has ended up blowing up the tunnel underneath and re-sealing the security measures. So getting them into that area, it's probably going to be quite difficult, but I'm going to plan on getting in touch with them, letting them know where it is, and trying to work with them to clear the tunnel out so they can access the bomb, and that will give us access to Jim and Monarch's tubes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like this plan. Let us say that with a couple of provisos for potential plot complications, this plan works. The individuals on the other end are suspicious of a new contact, but you have information relevant to their interests. They're less working with you than they are saying, okay, well, if you're going to give us this information, we're going to take it.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to... They clear out the site, which is... When you return to the apartment, the entire building has been demolished. Just a gigantic stack of rubble piled on top of itself.
Damn, my lab.
All the denizens were evacuated in advance, fortunately, but somebody came by and cleaned up the mess. You're able to get down into the tunnels, and it takes quite a bit of excavation, and you can't just jump down the chutes that they went through. The whole system was designed, once they went through those chutes, it demolished and collapsed itself and filled itself with a resin that quickly hardens. So it takes you some additional doing, but with the assistance of this outside liberation group, you're able to work your way down into the catacombs. I would like both of you to roll, let's say, persuasion checks in order to get the assistance of this group without revealing too much information yourselves. Wow, okay. The pseudo RNG is on fire tonight. Jerax seems very good at revealing information without revealing anything else. Like, has a hard lock on his emotions recently. Again, Jerax, in your mind, like, it's just, okay, well, I've got this element here that I want to combine with this element here in order to get them into a configuration that advances my goals. So why not pit them against each other? Why not tell this particular lie? None of it actually matters that much. It's just rearranging matter. You are able to find your way into the bunker, well hidden deep inside the sewers. It takes you the better part of a day to get all the way down there. And I'll go ahead and transport us momentarily.
Before we wake them up, I'm going to say to Natalie, let's fuck with them a little bit and say that they were in there for 10 years.
Yeah.
All right.
Natalie messes up her hair and rubs her makeup a little bit.
Okay. Inside the bunker, which is all labeled property of the Arasaka Corporation, in this room in particular, they are the only individuals in cryostasis, but the bunker is a little bit extensive. It was designed for long-term survival. Jim is frozen right here. The Monarch is frozen right here. Both of them have recovered all of their hit points. I checked in advance, and the two of you weren't particularly injured, so you should be at full health. Jerax, as a trained medical professional, you have the skills to safely thaw them out. Set the stage, if you would. Actually, you know what? Why don't we... Yeah, set the stage, and then we're going to go to a break.
Okay, I want to dim the lights. Real mean. I want to say, Natalie, look real mean, lean in the corner. And I'm going to make sure my red light is on like a nice humming buzz mode, whatever that is. Kind of like intimidation mode. And I'm going to start the procedure, and I'm going to stand underneath one of the dim lights with my arms crossed. And right at the moment when they're audible, I'm going to say, "It's about time you've woken up." I'm just gonna let it hang.
All
I'm
right.
just gonna see what happens, you know.
All right, let's go ahead and take
Where are
a
we-
short break. I'm going to fix the lighting to get it all appropriately dramatic. Josh, did you have a question before we go to that?
No, it's all right. The question is perfectly fine
All
afterwards.
right, we'll let it hold. All right then, folks. We're going to welcome Jim Fingers and the Monarch to the world of tomorrow when we come back from a short break. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned.